Dr. Oz, we're honored to have you here at the 38th Congress of the International Nut and Dry Fruit, and here in Florida. In this interview, I'd like to ask you about specific benefits of hazelnuts and dried fruits. As you may know, 72% of the world's hazelnuts coming from Turkey, and we're talking about 500,000 people, farmers, involved in this. Turkey is also a big producer of dried fruits like sultanas, dried raisins, and everyone knows Turkish apricots or Turkish dried figs. Therefore, one can only imagine how important that is for Turkish producers. So let me start with our questions. Can you outline the benefit of hazelnuts for consumers? And what is the ideal consumption prescription?
So if I can, let me start off at a high level about the value of eating real food. Food that comes out of the ground looking the way it looks when you eat it. It has been studied. In fact, just this week, a massive study, important one, came out that was supported with the NIH, the National Institutes of Health, the American government's research arm. They took 20 people. They put them in a program where they were completely closed off, like being in a jail. And they gave them all the food that they could eat, nothing more, nothing less, and they weren't allowed to cheat. And they showed that eating the same macronutrient amounts of food, so the same calories, carbohydrates, same fats and protein, same micronutrients.
We all know that hazelnuts contain 60% fat, oil, but the fatty acids composition is very, very close to the ones of the olive oil. So, since that is the case, can we presume that hazelnuts provide the same health and the benefits of olives and oil?
I would expect hazelnuts to have a similar benefit as olive oil. It has not been proven, although that work is starting now. But the omega-9 and omega-6 compositions are significant. Neither one has a lot of omega-3s. Walnuts, for example, have omega-3s, but you can get a mixture of nuts and get all your fats if you desire. But I love hazelnuts because they really do mimic what olive oil offers, very small amounts of saturated fats. And so you would expect over time that the data that shows that olive oil has a health benefit should also be demonstrated to be beneficial for hazelnuts.
And we all ride on the way that in 2003, the FDA approved a health claim that linked nut consumption. There were 3 nuts mentioned, including the hazels, to a reduced risk of heart disease. And what do you think of a heart surgeon for that?
As a heart surgeon especially, but as a human being, I'm just fascinated that we could actually prove, because it's hard to do this, to prove that nuts can be beneficial for something as important as heart disease, the number 1 killer of all humans. And I think there's several reasons why it's probably true. The manganese levels are so high that it satisfies your daily requirement. Magnesium is also deficient in probably 2/3 of all Americans and people around the Western world. So to be able to get some magnesium into your diet helps. The protein content is high.
Found that both copper and manganese intake were shown to have positive effects on lowering blood pressure in 640 participants. And it is known that manganese is a star mineral in hazelnuts too. So do you think that consuming hazelnuts can be also beneficiary for the cardiovascular system, which you...
I do believe that, but just specifically in hypertension, which is the number 1 ager of all, there's a test called the real age test, which is, probably 40 million Americans have taken this test, many more if you count in other countries. The real age test tells you how old your body is. Of all the things that age us, hypertension is number 1. And the fact that we have mineral deficiencies, magnesium, manganese, and others, that might be linked to high blood pressure is concerning to me. And so if you can get it through a nut, which is, again, humans traveled across plains and carried pouches of nuts.
There's been a dramatic increase in vegans all over. And what kind of health benefits can the daily consumption of nuts, hazelnuts, or hazelnut products like hazelnut milks provide vegans?
Well, vegan movements have been slowly gaining steam, but this past year really sped up. Mm-hmm. And almost 10% of the U.S. population wants to be vegan or thinks they are, they're almost there. And I'm not going to push people to become vegans, but I'm telling you right here, vegans are generally healthier. It's better for the human body, it's better for the human planet. Because we really can't afford to be consuming as much of processed products as we currently are. And the vegan diet sometimes gets a little tedious appearing, so you need exotic flavors to spice it up. So the ability to take foods that naturally have a unique flavor, and I think hazelnuts are a great example of that, allow you to make equivalents of butters and milks, but also added as seasoning to different foods so that it tends to take on a more of a umami taste, a taste that people crave when they eat meat. Because the average person wants to eat food that's fun. Otherwise, life just seems like it's longer. It's not actually any longer.
Yeah. And risk of cancers. Are there any real studies on that?
There are several published studies in looking at nut consumption and cancer rates. But in addition, with hazelnuts, you have the benefit of vitamin E, which has been well studied in helping people who have cancer. Here's the thing with cancer. We all have cancer right now. Anyone who can hear my voice, if you're watching this right now, you have cancer cells. Thankfully, your body's going to find those cancer cells and your immune system will kill them. So the question isn't, are you going to develop cancer, but can you do things that make sure your body's smart enough to catch them? Vitamin E is one of those cofactors that's really important for that process. And because vitamin E levels are high, probably a quarter of your daily requirement just from a hazelnut serving, and I can never stop at one serving, so it's often satisfied just by the nuts I eat, you're going to be able to be in a good place to help your immune system do what it wants to do anyway. And that's not just for cancers, it's also probably for autoimmune ailments. Because autoimmune ailments are because the immune system is working on the wrong things. It's confused. So it's not attacking the cancer cells, it's attacking your own cells by mistake.